Hello everybody, this is Westbound coming to you today with something that you hopefully will find helpful when starting out with a new project as we're approaching the start of this year's score relief. Thanks to Bryan and everybody supporting this crowdfunding. So there's a couple of things you need to be aware of when you launch the project, when you load the movie into it. And there are also a couple of things that I ran into which I need to address here, a couple of snags. Could be logic, could be me. Help me out, fill me in if it's something I'm doing wrong, but it happened repeatedly. So let's bring my project on. Okay, as you can see, I display the arrangement window or arrangement section here with the tracks marker, movie, signature, tempo. Arrangement I don't use that much, so if you right click into the gray area, you get to select which tracks should appear here, the ones with the check mark or with the icon here. You select that. Alright, so marker is important. The marker are like your cue markers whenever the cue changes, and I use them as both markers, arrangement, to structure the arrangement, as well as kind of putting down my own spotting notes. And then movie, apparently signature, yes, I chose a signature of 8/8 here for this track, and tempo. So let's bring in the movie by clicking on movie and open movie. It should take us to the default directory in Logic. Okay, here we go. Movie files. By default, Logic creates either folders or packages, but for both there are default file folders like audio files, movie files, and I'll make sure after downloading the packages from the QTube library to file the single files for audio and the movie into the respective folders. So movie files, there were 3 versions for this one that I meant to score prior to the QTube for practice, and one is called Cinema Unscored, the other one with Bitsy or SMPTE code, and then there's a third one with voiceover and temp music. So we're going to select this one here for the Bitsy code because this is going to be important for what I'm about to talk about. Okay, then by default the prompt appears whether or not to extract the audio track. I'm going to leave it on for this demonstration. Usually I deselect it because I have separate audio tracks, but for this I'm going to leave it on so that we have a reference. What happens is that in the movie there's an embedded file with audio apparently, and it gets extracted from the movie to a separate track in the DAW, like so. Here it is. See that? There it is. Yeah, since I'm not at the first try of recording this, we can lose this track. Alright, so the movie is loaded. It appears here. It's a separate region in the arrangement tracks, and the audio file is extracted. What strikes me though, and that's the first snag that I keep running into, is that it did not place it at the project beginning, but randomly at bar something. So it leads me to suspect that this region isn't expanded all the way. Let's try that. No, it is. Well, still, it's not where I would expect it. So let's drag it across. And you may have noticed that the audio track moved along with the movie track or region, because there's this little lock here, which means if you right click, it's locked to the SMPTE code, which is baked into this image, into this video here. But again, there's something that strikes me right away, which is that the regions for the movie and the audio do not match up. And that is another question that I would have to give back to the community as to why that is. It's not the first time that I'm seeing this. So let's expand this a little bit. Something must be wrong here, because we see that there's a transient already, so there's sound before that, which means we have to temporarily move our project start somewhere else and have this here align. It should start, both should align at the left region corner, and it's not the case. So maybe someone can help me out here. And then we have to move the movie track until, okay, now this lines up. Let's bring the project to 0 or a bar 1. And where do you find this setting here? Well, there are specific settings for each project, at least for Logic. Project settings, and synchronization is the one that you're looking for, and you want to make sure that It starts at bar position 1 and the SMPTE code is set to 0. What else is important? Sync mode internal. That's correct because Logic is supposed to set the pace here for this movie. And the movie comes with a frame rate of 25 frames per second. If your project settings are not matching the frame rate of the movie or the source movie, then you get a prompt asking you to do so, and you should align those, have those in sync. So here's our reference track. Let's listen back to that. Why am I not hearing it? Because I didn't select an output. Always the same mistake. I keep forgetting about that. Okay, once more.
There's something special about the cinema, a place where we can escape from the reality.
So far, so good. If I bring up the movie again.
Realities of the world and lose ourselves.
Looks all good. So what we could try here is deselect the SMPTE lock, unlock SMPTE code, and try to see. Now it stretches all the way out to the left. But it should have done that in the beginning, I feel, so we don't have to twiddle around with that. So let's select this one and right-click brings up this menu, lock SMPTE code. So now it's aligned. And that's the way I would expect it to look like after importing right away without having to do all these extra steps. Like I said, I'm just using this here for reference because there are a few more things that I need to address. We're not going to use the temp music for now, just sound effects and voiceover. And I prefer to have each of those on a separate track. For example, if sometimes maybe you want to do your own sound effects or sound creation effects, and then this would be better if it's not baked into the movie, especially if you want to use some of the original sound effects. Okay, so let's bring that in. Let's select sound effects first, right click into the gray area, add audio file, go to the directory where our files are stored. In this case, it takes me directly there. What is it? Sound effects here. Open that. Again, see, the left region corner is not aligned with the movie corner, which is time consuming. Let's listen back whether it matches sound wise. Does not, see? I think it should go here to bar 1 where all the rest is. And it should have done that automatically, I feel. Let's try the voiceover. Right click, audio file. To finish machine, it takes a moment. Here. Yep, see, places it randomly somewhere. And it should be here. So let's drag this over. And didn't match. And then you see, I mean, this is just a guessing game here. It's never really aligned, and so we can't be sure that those files are in the correct position. And like I said, it could be a logic thing. It could be just plain old me being stupid. In which case, please enlighten me. Try to be constructive and not take me apart and lick my bones dry when you do. But I'd appreciate it to be filled in here. All right, so let's bring the movie. Okay, we need to lock those to the movie with the SMPTE code. Now we want to move the project start to where it used to be before, to 1. Here's the next funny thing. Why is it that now all of a sudden the play position is at bar 0.8.2 instead of 1? Because I didn't align it correctly. So you get the idea, right? I mean, you get the idea of what it's supposed to be like and what we find. And again, I don't mean to offend anyone. I mean, we get so much support from the YouTube, but maybe that is something to look out for a little bit in the future, because this is not the first time I see this happen. And then it's a lot of additional time which goes into just trying to align those regions correctly so that they match up. Now let's give it a listen whether we managed.
There's something special about the cinema, a place where we can...
Okay, relief. I managed to align them correctly. Again, this is not meant as offense, but in the spirit of learning and making each other aware of what to look out for. Like I said, we get so much support from the YouTube, and I can't thank Bryan and everyone else helping out enough, because this is really a one stop for fledgling or working composers and filmmakers, and so we get a lot of good stuff. So hopefully I'm not being taken as a nitpicker. And this is meant to showcase that these are the things that you may want to look out for before starting out. When you start out composing actually, and creating your templates, which apparently I did here for my project or for any project. I have my sections for violence 1, violence 2, the cello, and so on and so on. And then off we go and come up with great ideas, hopefully. So anyways, I hope this was useful, not too chaotic. If you happen to know what I'm doing wrong, if I did something wrong, please feel free to let me know in the comments. Come back, subscribe if you feel this was of use, and see you soon, and good luck with the Score Leaf 2024. Bye-bye.